Let's continue with chapter number 9 from your history book of grade 7, and the name of the chapter is Akbar. And today we are going to complete this chapter. So let us begin from social and cultural achievements, and first is social reforms. Akbar introduced a number of social reforms to rid Indian society from of some cruel practices. Rid means to get rid of or to remove. Okay, he prohibited sati, means he banned sati, and legitimized the remarriage of widows. He discouraged child marriage. The minimum age of marriage was raised to 14 years for girls and 16 years for boys. The consent means the permission or agreement and of the bride and the bridegroom had to be taken before a marriage was performed. So a few educational reforms also was made by Akbar. First is he passed education, and he in the past education was mainly based on the study of religious scriptures. Akbar laid more emphasis on secular subjects such as mathematics, agriculture, logic, history, astronomy. Okay, all this came into existence. The translation department and was set up to translate Sanskrit works such as the Vedas, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and other famous works from Arabic to Greek into Persia. This gave the middle and the upper middle class access to the common literature and insight of various, into various, they started understanding and seeing various cultures. So what was the change in the literature? Persia was as the court language. Persian was the court language and the language of the upper classes. Persian literature was encouraged by the Mughals. Also Faizi, the brother of Abul Fazl, was Akbar's poet. So he used to tell poems to Akbar, and one of the greatest Persian poets is of Mughal time. Abul Fazl was Akbar's court historian. He wrote the Akbarnama, is a book, Akbarnama, which is an excellent historical work in Persia. Hindi was also used in the Mughal court. Birbal was made the Hindi Kavi Raj, or you can say he was also the poet who used to tell poems to Akbar in his court. The Rama Chatirmanas. The Rama Chatirmanas was written by Tulsi Das as the greatest Hindi author in those times. Akbar was literate, but he had an unstable hunger for knowledge. Means he was illiterate. Okay, he was illiterate. He was not educated, but he always was in search of knowledge and passion of books. His library consisted about 24,000 books, many of which were specially written and illustrated for the emperor by calligraphists. Calligraphists are those who makes the map. Okay, printing was not known that time. And so painting, the Mughals made a major contribution in Indian art, and there were a large number of painters attached to the library. And we can say they spent most of their time illustrating manuscripts. Most of their illustrated were miniature paintings. Okay, this is one of the miniature painting we can see here. What type of architecture? During Akbar's long and peaceful reign, many buildings were constructed. Initially, the style of architecture was Persian, for instance, and the Humayun's tomb. However, with the passage of time, we find that Akbar's architecture style became more and more Indian. Okay, in spite by the places or palaces of the Hindu Rajas, as Akbar's later buildings reflect Rajput traditions. Fatehpur Sikri, Akbar's new capital city, contains many interesting Rajput style buildings and is made of sandstone. It is referred to as a dream in stone. And among the many fine buildings are the Diwani Khas, Panch Mahal, Jodhabai's palace, and the Buland Darwaza. They had square pillar balconies and delicate stone screens, and so through which the ladies is of the harem could see, but could not be seen. Okay, the famous Agra fort was built in a red sandstone. What kind of music was there at that time? Akbar was very fond of music. And Akbar, you can say, according to Abul Fazl, there were 36 top ranking musicians in Akbar's court. They were divided into 7 groups. Each group entertained the emperor on one day of the week. The most famous musician at Akbar's court was Tansen, and he composed many ragas and developed and enriched Hindustani music by combining the Indian and the Persian styles. Akbar was the representative of the golden age of the Mughal Empire. He laid the foundation of a secular national state based on the principles of religious tolerance, universal brotherhood, and political unity. With this, we come to an end of this chapter. Hopefully, you understood. Thank you.